Wow, what an amazing shot. We have all been there. One day you get this great idea that instead of going to Starbucks, instead of going to your local coffee shop and overpaying for that latte or that flat white, you are just gonna go out and purchase a home espresso machine to take your coffee game to the next level and save yourself money. You whip out your laptop, you go do a quick Google search, and you realize, damn, espresso machines are not cheap. It does not take you long of searching to realize that at-home espresso machines, even the entry-level ones, cost several hundreds up to thousands of dollars. There are espresso machines for literally $7 and $8 and $9 and $10,000. Why does anyone need that kind of espresso machine at home? Chances are you probably don't, but don't get discouraged. There are some cheaper, more cost-efficient ways to make good quality espresso at home. Now, before we dive deeper, we have to look at what espresso is. Ultimately, it is just a highly concentrated shot of coffee brewed under a lot of pressure. Typically, industry standards are around 9 bars. That's a lot of pressure, and that's why those machines are more and more expensive, because they have the technology in them to do that. Full transparency here, neither of the two methods we're talking about today come anywhere close to 9 bars of pressure. So by industry standards, this is not authentic espresso. But if you're looking for a budget-friendly, beginner-friendly way to get into espresso at home, these options will be perfect for you. And then when you're ready, you can eventually make the leap into something more industry standard. The first method comes from our tried and trusty Aeropress. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I highly recommend the Aeropress because of its versatility. There's so many different ways you can brew coffee with this, including espresso. Now, the Aeropress manufacturers recommend that you can actually brew espresso with this machine and device alone. And while you can definitely give that a try, I would actually recommend picking up one of these bad boys to pair alongside your Aeropress. That's a fellow Prismo attachment. This gizmo will help take your espresso with the Aeropress to a whole new level. The Aeropress is going to run you anywhere from $30 to $40, and the Prismo attachment is going to be in the $20 to $30 range. Together, you're looking at a total cost of about $70. A great budget-friendly setup for brewing espresso at home. Now, with the Aeropress and the Prismo, you're going to get 1 cup, 1 shot of highly concentrated coffee, and if you do it right, you might even get some crema on top of your shot, which is what we're all looking for when it comes to a high quality shot of espresso. Just make sure you're using high quality fresh beans. For this method, you're going to go ahead and use your Aeropress inverted. Now, the Aeropress comes with a handy little scoop here. If you don't have a scale, this is super helpful, and I recommend using it. We're going to use 20 grams of finely ground coffee, or 2 scoops. Once your grounds are in the Aeropress, you're going to add 65 grams of just off-boil water. Roughly 195 to 205 Fahrenheit is the temperature you're looking for here. Once those 65 grams are in, you're going to carefully go ahead and lower the Aeropress so it's all nice and level with the liquid. Now, give it a nice healthy stir for about 30 seconds. Really get in there, get those grounds. Then you're going to put the Prismo cap on and let the Aeropress sit for 45 seconds. This might seem like a little bit of a long time for espresso, but remember, this is manual espresso, and because you're not getting the amount of bars that a normal machine has, you need a little bit of extra TLC and effort in there. So be patient, it's worth the wait. After those 45 seconds, go ahead and flip your Aeropress and do a slow, steady, controlled press for at least 45 seconds. I like to press right through the hiss. I had a little bit of crema developing here, but I pressed right through it. That can happen, so be careful. But at the end of the day, you're going to get an amazing shot of espresso. So this is the shot that we just brewed with the Aeropress. As you can see, doesn't brew a lot, but this is an espresso shot. It's a small quantity, a very extra strong shot of coffee brewed under pressure. Let's give her a taste. That is tremendous. No real bitterness in there at all. Just a nice, smooth, great shot of coffee. You seriously cannot go wrong by getting yourself an Aeropress and a Prismo attachment from fellow products. It's going to brew you great espresso on a very, very nice budget. Now, option number 2 for brewing espresso at home without a big, expensive, fancy machine is a little bit more old school, and that's a stovetop espresso machine or a Moka Pot. Now, for all my Italians watching, chances are growing up, your Nonna had one of these in her house, often on her stove. This is the true classic Italian way of brewing espresso. Like I said, it's old school, but it still gets the job done, and it's not going to break the bank. Now, one fair warning when you're using a stovetop espresso machine or a Moka Pot, they traditionally brew your coffee very strong and tend to lean towards being bitter. That's just because of the ratio that they generally use. It gets pretty close to a 1 to 10 ratio. So if you dose down, adjust your ratio a little bit, you will be able to counter that and brew less strong, less bitter espresso that should get the job done.
Now, continuing using the Aeropress scoop for the Moka Pot, we're going to do 2.5 scoops, or roughly 18 grams if you're using a scale, and you want to use a very fine ground coffee. Now, it's important that despite the fact this is espresso, you do not want to tamp or level this in any way. You can tap the edges and shake it around a little bit, but do not tamp or apply any pressure. Now, when you're filling up the bottom half of the Moka Pot, you're going to go to that little gauge at the bottom there. That's where you want to stop, and I highly recommend using just off-boil water. It's going to heat up your espresso quicker and stop your Moka Pot from burning your espresso. Throw it on your stove on a medium setting. Don't go any hotter than that, or it will not work out the best. So set it on a medium setting and just wait for it to work its magic. See this nice rich espresso color starting to flow from here? This is great, but be mindful, it does change pretty quickly. As you can see here, it's already starting to change color and starting to bubble, and as soon as it starts to bubble, you're going to want to take it off and run it under cool water to stop it from brewing.
And this is the espresso from the Moka Pot. Definitely a little bit stronger than the Aeropress, but it tastes just like espresso. The Aeropress and the Moka Pot might not be espresso by industry standards because the pressure isn't there. They still brew a very solid cup of espresso adjacent, as we like to call it. Something very, very close. And if you're just getting started, you're looking to get into espresso on a budget, it is going to be perfectly fine for your needs. Particularly with the Moka Pot, if you're someone who wants to dive further into cappuccinos or lattes or flat whites, it's going to make a fairly decent portion of espresso that will definitely help you do that. You just need some kind of handheld frother, even a French press to froth your milk, something like that, that's going to be able to provide the milk for you, because obviously neither of these two machines are capable of doing that. Both the Moka Pot and the Aeropress with the Prismo attachment are great options if you're looking to get into espresso at home without splurging on a big, fancy, expensive, shiny machine. Both are going to brew you great quality espresso. The one that you go for really depends on your personal preferences and budget. The Moka Pot can be cheaper depending on where you're finding it, but it is going to brew you a stronger, more bold espresso, where I find that the Aeropress does something a little bit more subtle, a little bit more full body. Both are great, really just depends on your preferences. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. We have all been there, my friends. We want to get into espresso at home, but the price tag is really scary. Don't fear, there are totally budget-friendly options like we just discussed in today's video. Let me know down in the comments below how you brew your espresso at home, especially if you use one of these two options or another budget-friendly option. I'm sure everyone would love to hear about it. If you liked this video, if you took away some kind of value from it, you could do me a huge favor by giving it a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button to join our coffee community. My name's Caitlin. I'm a coffee roaster from Toronto, Canada. I own a company called Street Brew Coffee. It'll be linked in the description down below if you want to check it out. We roast fresh coffee on a weekly basis for people who love really good quality coffees. Definitely check that out. Thank you so much for watching. My goal is just to help you brew better coffee at home and fall in love with the process of making coffee. Make sure you like this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good week. Remember, brew better coffee. Go support a local independent roaster. Bye guys.